Hey guys, my name is Walter Schumann, and today I really want to point a few ideas on how to finger and to create the melody in Prolinium and Allegro on the first part before the main Allegro. So it starts with Allegro, then we have Andante and the same tempo primo. And why I'm saying how important the fingering is, also the bowing. The strokes are extremely important. How you treat the melody. Prolinium Allegro was written by Kreisler. He thought that this is a theme from Pugnani, after the style of Pugnani, but unfortunately turned out eventually not to be from Pugnani, by Pugnani, and so Kreisler even didn't know about that. However, he wrote this in the style and become like Prolinium Allegro. Very famous, and it is yet, it is one of the most challenging pieces for violin repertoire. So I will ask if musicians are not completely prepared for that, please do not step up into this material before you get to your level. Recently, I'm witnessing and watching lots of people and lots of this so-called master classes, to where you see very much this unfortunate situation of people who are beginners, and or they being dropped off, or they just like to play for fun and nothing serious or professionally inclined. And so you see they go on the material like such as Tchaikovsky, Wieniawski, Paganini, Kreisler, etc., etc. I don't even want to name all the list, but it's saddening me because you see those teachers, like, they feel very excited to teach things and stuff to people who are beginners and not yet up to the level to where they can comprehend or correctly perform, execute the exercises, the material that is being asked for. And also, either, rather this is the pride of the teacher, of a teacher, or also of a student, that particular whomever it is, to say, oh, I did Paganini, I did Kreisler, I did Tchaikovsky concerto, Bruch concerto, Sibelius, and you see that when you listen to them, they are in a very, very beginning level, in a level of beginners, and they don't even get to some sort of intermediate level, not to talk. No, we're not mentioning about advanced level and so on and so on. So, and you see those people are kind of trying to perform something like that one piece that I have in front of me here, and you do understand that this is simply not right. This is not beneficial, neither for the teacher nor for the student, because even a student who is have music as a hobby and trying to learn something specific or difficult, that person will learn that, but it's not going to be correctly done. Not only he's going to learn whatever it takes for this particular piece, but that does not mean this person will achieve a better technique. So, of course, we're not talking about people who started violin at age of 4 or 5 like I started and have studied, and many others like me. And we're not talking about these situations. We're talking about people who just want to enjoy music for hobby. I don't trying to point out that they should not enjoy music if they're looking for, but if you want to get to there, make more efforts, more practice, more professional supervision, because of what I'm seeing, things are not very nice, and this simply does not make anyone's the justice of performing well. It's So here I have this Prolinium Allegro, which is considered one of the most challenging violin pieces. You know, many times I will go somewhere and I play something and I'll try to practice for myself, because I do practicing every day, and someone will come, beginner, you know, and they'll say, "Oh, you do it so easy," and they grab the violin and they start doing the same. Well, the results are pretty, you know, unpleasant to listen and to hear. And they immediately realize that this is not the spoon for their mouth, you know, the size of a spoon they can take. And please do not do that. It shows complexes and it shows issues with your understanding and clarity of you to realize where you stand. You cannot compete with other people, especially if they're professionals. Because even a professional try to recover technique, that professional person will always be better than someone who is just who has music just as a hobby. Don't forget that. Here. Before I continue to say a few words, the Prolinium Allegro, as I mentioned, was written by Kreisler, who thought that this is written by Pugnani, so he wrote in the style of Pugnani, but eventually didn't turn out to be true. So here is very important. We have these octaves hopping, you know, descending and ascending octaves. Here is very important. Your strokes, the idea of how you're going to manage the melody, stream the force, you know, from where your melody should. Often I hear what? That's what I hear. Every note has been hidden and, you know, with an accent and being with a very hard stroke over the string. That's not what it should be. Accent tenuto, to where you have to continue the bow with a stroke. So, and the melody starts from the second point, which just means the second beat, not from the. So you keep. So this is the first structure. This is the first 3.5 lines. What is the difficulties here is that we start a few bars with accents, but this accent should be tenuto, and it says simile, which is mean in the similar way, just simply, you know. So what is the difficult part is the upper bow. Usually when you go, sometimes the upper bow becomes more stronger. That's the difficulty, is how to make the second bow, upper bow, the second beat, mild and related to the other, like a whole structure. The whole point is to keep the bow very sturdy and very tight down with a very close connection with the string. And you just when the starting point, you see, that is important. The starting point is very important, but also what makes it accurate and connected is the same length of the bow. So if one of your tones is just longer, the other, that's actually makes the difference, and that actually what creates one tone to sound stronger than the other. Having an equal bowing and side of the bows will balance the sound. So also my teachers will say make an accent. The accent should come more from the vibrato than from the bow. So make sure that you emphasize and take the pressure from the bow only with the point. You see? Keep your hand framed, extremely framed. In this Prolinium Allegro, if your hand is out of frame or balance centered, you are done. Why? You have constantly and all the whole time octaves. So you have to think on, you have double stops, but put it in the space. You see? And sustain the bow. The bow should be literally like stuck with the glue for the string. And that's very difficult. Why? You have crossing strings, and it's very hard not to touch the other one. So like here, from here, you see, all the way here. So you cross 3 strings. So, yeah, thank you. So this is what makes this piece so hard, and that's why it's very challenging. In the very beginning, I said that I often see very young musicians or musicians that are in a beginning level, and they try to perform very sophisticated, extremely hard, technically challenging pieces. I strongly suggest you quit this idea. If you want to get to this point, you have to grow and to build up on your technique to get to the level. So, I mean, it's very funny, but no one of the students from first grade wants to solve mathematical solutions and exercises for someone who is in the university, right? Why? There is a pattern. You have to build up knowledge. First you start with a 1 plus 1, and then you ended up to the high level of math, science. But no one goes from the very first beginning level. And I'm very surprised people are so arrogant. Excuse me to be so blunt and direct, but people become very arrogant in terms of music. Often I see people going to different churches or places, and I'm gonna start, and they will come and they grab their instruments and they will start saying, oh, it was very easy, and they start playing the same thing, trying to imitate or to make look, oh, look what I can do too. And of course, the results are not very pleasant to hear and to listen to, right? But I'm not there to compete with anyone, because music is love. Music is love. You're not going to compete with other people. You don't compete with something or with someone you love. I mean, I'm not pretending to be a Heifetz, but you know, it's very important people to understand their level and how they can build up on from where they are. Competition in music and in art in general has become a strenuous moment of people's life. And more low-level musicians or mediocres or musicians with the idea of having music in their lives as a hobby are trying to point fingers at very estimated and professional musicians. A few months ago, I was at this church and this place, and there was this lady, and afterwards, and this lady told me, oh, you know, there's this girl, and this person wants to compete with you, and I said, oh, very nice. She's already, you know, going to fail, you know, and she said, oh, you're too prideful, and I said, no, I'm not prideful. I'm just saying that I don't compete. So what I do, I'm coming, I practice, I work over my technique, on myself, and then I continue and make possible to make it better. So the second part, after we go this, you know, lots of people, this is Andante. My teachers will also say, Walter, this is Andante. Don't take it too fast. And it's in tenuto. This is the difference from the first part. It is in tenuto. So it's an allargando, molto tenuto, and it says Andante. One of the hardest part here is to make the connections between the tenuto and to make them sound like one long legato with divisions in between, right? So the leaning, the bow should be more like leaning toward. You see, I kind of manipulate with the moving of the bow. That actually gives me sustainability, you know. So take your time. The melody starts from the lowest tone up to, not from here. No, that's actually incorrect. It's the opposite. Here. You see, from the energy comes from that point. Interesting fact, Kreisler wrote this long notes, the quarter notes here, with a double legato. One legato on the top as a syncoping, and then the lower legato to connect. So this is a solutional tone, like you know, in the harmony we have tonic, subdominant, dominant, you know, tonic again, and this actually goes exactly the same way. What do we have? So often I hear the opposite. Like they put the accent there, you know, think that that's how it is, but no, please don't do that. That's not what Kreisler wanted, right? So it's O in forte, nowhere there is a fortissimo, right? Long, fermata, and then again. Oh, thank you guys. That's very kind of you to shut up. You know, so the whole idea is in Prolinium in style of Pugnani, you know, which is not exactly Pugnani, but yeah, Kreisler thought it is. It's connection, the bridges between those octaves. And the hardest part and challenging part is the crossing strings. So you have to literally stick your bow like a glue for this, you know. You see, don't do much of an accent, but do the accent more or less from your right hand, but more from your vibrato. You see? way you can accelerate. Why? Because the vibrato keeps the momentum, the motoric, the energy. So the other point is how you put your fingering. Your fingering should not be completely different to extent like not too many open strings. That is something. Oh, thank you. It's something my teachers will say. Walter, don't use too many open strings. So, what does this mean? I mean, you can hear the difference. I will try to play with open strings, and then I'm going to perform just a short part of it with no open strings. As less. I mean, there will be open, but as less possible, right? So, now it's with the open strings, you know. So you see that this open strings kind of literally hits the ceiling off, and it kind of sounds terrible, right? So they kind of beat up each other. But to make a smooth timbre, to make a smooth balance and color, it's preferable to use fingers. So I'm going to do it with fingers, you know. You see how connected become, you know? Instead of become here. Right? Then instead of those are the only times I do this open strings. And this is going to be probably for next time. I do very much appreciate you guys coming and watching this video. I wish you a great rest of the day and see you soon. Bye now.